Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, family and friends. We're back again. I've got a lot to cover today, so I'm going to try to get it done in 5 minutes. This is going to be another lesson in Follow the Money today, okay? But first, I want to talk about the fact that we are, or I should say the U.S. and the current administration is, they keep using the words regime change, and what they did in Venezuela, now what they're trying to do in Iran. And I find it ironic that they're so big on regime change when they're trying to establish their own regime here. Things like trying to pass the SAVE Act, S-A-V-E, and whether folks realize it or not, especially women, this will make it much more difficult for you to vote if this law passes, okay? So you better pay attention. He only wants hetero white males to be able to vote in this country. So minorities and women, especially women, you better pay attention to what the SAVE Act does, and don't let them take away your right to vote or make it more difficult for you to vote, okay? Now, let's get past that. Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. The war in Iran. I'm going to give you the simple, and then I'm going to give you the complicated. The war with Iran is all about a money grab for the rich billionaire oil companies that support Trump and his policies, okay? That's the simple, okay? That's the real quick and dirty, all right? Now, let me give you some of the details, okay? The U.S., we produce about 18.4 million barrels of oil per day. We use about 18.1. We import about 7.8. Now, why is that? We produce more than we use, but why is it that we are still importing that much? Well, it's complicated, but I'm going to try to make it real simple. Oil is measured on primarily two main things, weight and flavor. And the weight, whether or not the oil is heavy or light, that determines how easy it is to pump as well as refine. And the flavor, whether it is sweet or sour. Sweet versus sour. What that means is how much sulfur is in the oil, okay? Primarily in America, we produce light, sweet oil. Heavy, sour oil is the stuff that comes from like Venezuela, Canada, Mexico, and it's harder to refine, all right? So now, if it's harder to refine, why is it such a big deal? Well, it's because the oil companies, in all their divine wisdom for the last, 4 or 5, decades, for 40 years, 50 years, however many years, all of our refineries are built to refine heavy, sour oil, the majority, okay? So the good oil that we produce here, we are selling it overseas, or I'm saying they are selling it overseas at a profit, and they're buying this cheaper oil to refine. So you would think that a good businessman would say, well, I've got a product here. Why don't I change my factories to be able to refine it? Well, follow the money. Because it is cheaper. Now get this. Here's the crazy part. There is a law in America for processing oil and transporting oil here in the U.S. It has to be done on a ship that is built American, it is owned American, and it is crewed. The crew, the Navy, the sailors, all have to be American. So it is more expensive to ship oil from Texas to New Jersey than it is to ship oil from Saudi Arabia to Texas. Is that crazy? It is more expensive to ship oil here in the U.S., like from the interior to the exterior, than it is to bring it from overseas. That is why you follow the money, because the oil companies are buying up the cheap oil, refining it, and selling it here. And the nice, good, the better, clean, beautiful, clean oil that we produce is being sent and sold at a premium overseas. Now, isn't that some ass backward? You would think in the 20, 30, 40, 50 years that oil companies have had these billionaire businessmen running them, that they would say, you know what? We should change our factories so that we can refine the oil that we actually produce, that we actually get here in America. So we would not have any foreign oil dependency, which, again, that's kind of an oxymoron when we produce more than we use, okay? So that's to kind of give it to you in a quick and dirty, which, if you'll notice, that's why the billionaire oil companies don't want us to use green energy, because then that monopoly that they have on this ass backward way that they do business, they wouldn't be able to do that. And they've had decades to change it, but they haven't, because they're making profits year after year after year, and they have not had a reason to change because no one's holding them accountable. Politicians want to keep this as an issue. And you will notice, okay, and I'm going to say this, you will notice that every single thing that there is an issue about in our country, if you connect the dots and you go far enough, you can always, every single one, follow the money. You're going to end up at some rich billionaire or rich company who's making money off of it. Same with immigration, same with healthcare, same with housing. Everything, every major thing, they use that as a billy club to beat over your head for election cycles, okay? That's just the way it is. That's the way politics work in America. It's dirty. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching my video. I know this one went a little bit longer. There's a lot more detail that I'd like to get into, but time constraints. You guys have a good afternoon.